Hi. So I've cleaned this room once before and it was in much worse condition than this. So one thing that I found out with this room is that if a room doesn't have an intention or a purpose, it can very quickly become the junk room. The room where you just throw all your crap into it and shut the door, and that's just where it stays until you hit a manic episode or whatever. So whenever I cleaned this the first time, I cleaned it out entirely, but I did not set it up as a craft room or art room, which is the intention of the room, but I just didn't put everything back together. This time I am. Because if the room has an intention or a purpose, it's much easier to keep that room in its intended condition. So I'm going to start off by picking up trash and vacuuming. And some of you may say, why are you vacuuming the floor now when you're just going to have to vacuum it later after traipsing across this thing over and over again? And the reason is because I do what I want. I'm crazy, son. They calls me 2 Vacuum Johnny back in Milwaukee. So once I get all the stuff picked up, I'm going to move those couple of shelves to sort of bookend the table. And then I'm going to take everything off of it and wipe those down. I don't need to use any chemicals for anything in this room because the only thing that's on any of the surfaces is just dust. Everything that's just decorative and has no like practical purpose, I'm putting into one big box, and then she can go through that and figure out which decoration she wants to keep and which she wants to throw away or which one she wants to use in the room. Because this is a very small room and she has so many craft things in here, there's not going to be much room for any decoration at all because everything in this room has to have a practical purpose. As best I can, I'm going to try to separate a bunch of her stuff into some sort of organized pile. I want her to be able to look at each one of these boxes and know exactly which one contains the thing that she needs. Now, in the process of doing this, I'm going to be going through each of the boxes that I had packed up during the first cleaning so that I can figure out what's useful and what's not and get those things out into the open rather than just packed away in boxes and shoved into a closet. Now I'm putting all this back together, but after I finished all this, I stepped back and was almost ready to take after photos. And then I realized that everything looked too, I don't know how to explain it, clumpy. It was all in just like this weird L-shaped line around the room and I didn't like it. So I went back and moved both shelves and that little TV sort of stand thing that you saw me working on a second ago and lined those up a little bit better to make a little bit more room and to make it a little bit more symmetrical.